So coming to our question, so we have a certain question for you so that we can enlighten us. So in your opinion, just a question for you, in your opinion, what sets US higher education apart from higher education in other countries? What sets it apart? What is your opinion?
Thank you for that. And before I get to that question, I'll tell you that our leading international student right now on campus is actually a Pakistani woman. We don't have a lot of scholarships, but she got our full ride scholarship for her MBA program. So we're very proud of her, and I work very closely with her. So those opportunities are there. As I kind of mentioned before, U.S. education, there's freedom here in terms of, especially if somebody's coming at the undergraduate level. About a third of the curriculum is a general education curriculum, so you're a well-rounded person. A third of the curriculum is really job training. It's the focus on your major, so you have a deep understanding of the major. But then a third is really electives, which means that if you choose the wrong major at the beginning and you want to change, you still have time without costing extra money and time. So there's that kind of freedom, or you can double major, those kinds of things. And in the classroom itself, we don't so much lecture at students. There is some lectures for fundamental concepts, but teachers will often, do group discussions, have opportunities for the students to help to influence what is actually being talked about in the classroom. So they'll say, okay, here's a fundamental concept, but here's how it applies in my life, or here's the questions I have because of my experience. So it helps the students to really ask questions that are relevant for their own life. And we know that if that's the case, they're going to remember that material better. And then there's also there's two things. One is there is homework at the university level that will be different, say in Europe, where there's one huge exam at the end. You study or don't study throughout the year. It's up to you. And then you either pass or fail. Here, it's a lot of repetition, because we know that what you hear, you only remember about 5% of it. But what you do, you remember much, much, much more. So we have students practice again and again and again on concepts. So they're really grounded in those concepts. And at the same time, often courses will require you to do some research. So you can pick the topic or how you want to learn that material and specialize in a particular thing. So that kind of freedom and that opportunity to practice again until you get it right, I think really grounds you in a solid education, which serves you well. And if you have a solid foundation, you're going to have confidence. And if you have confidence, you can take initiative. And if you can take initiative, you're going to be successful. So we try to really think about education in that way.
To say that in America, there is a college for every aspiring student. One just has to do one's research properly.
Yes, that is really true, because we have over 5,000 universities in the United States. We're a big country, and most of them, I would say 80% of them, are going to give you a good education. We have the community college system, which gives you 2 years, and that's more vocational training, but not only vocational training. It also can be the preparatory education for a bachelor's degree. It's often a good choice for students who are a little bit strapped for funds to start at a community college, do 2 years, then on their visa, they could work for a year, and then transfer to a full university and do the last 2 years and complete their bachelor's degree. And their bachelor's degree would just simply say they came to the university. So this is one opportunity for students with a little bit more resources. They should go straight to the university, and we have both public and private. Typically, private universities are going to be much more expensive. Public universities draw some on the taxpayer dollars, so there's fewer scholarships, but the overall cost would be much lower. And then you have to think about, there are urban universities like mine, and then there's more rural universities. So you want to think about what kind of environment you want to be involved in. Do you want to be in a big city, or do you want to be in a small town? Which is more kind of insulated, that kind of thing. And then the size of the university. Like my university is a smaller regional university with small classes, like 20 students on average per class. And we have an 11-to-1 student to faculty ratio. That's very different than, say, the University of Illinois at Chicago, which is also here in Chicago, but there's 40,000 students there. And the classes maybe, especially in your first year, might be 100 students sitting in a lecture hall. So, you have to decide, what do you want? I mean, at a large university, you can get exposure to like very, very famous academics. That's really good often for the graduate level. For the undergraduate level, sometimes the more intimate environment can help you learn better. So you really have to choose that kind of what is it that's going to fit you? Like, what is the best fit for you? Because if you choose the right university carefully, if you have the right fit, you're going to be happy. If you're happy, you're not going to be anxious. You're going to be able to focus on your studies. And from there, you're going to be successful.
From Dr. Toffolo, on job perspective, I mean, especially a lot of people after studying, they look for jobs later on. So as compared to undergrad program, how do you see the community college programs, 2 years program? Like, people generally get jobs after that, or they have to struggle?
It really depends on the field that you're in. You can't say one size fits all. And it also depends on the unemployment rate at the time you're graduating. So right now we have historically low unemployment in the United States, which makes it good for new graduates because there's a need for many, many workers. The 2-year degree is going to get you could probably get a job. You're not going to be considered a full college graduate at that point. So it is important to go on for the bachelor's level. So with each level, the associate's degree you get at a community college, you'll get one salary. At a bachelor's degree level, you'll get a higher salary. If you go on for the master's, you'll get an even higher salary. But it really depends on the field. And then if you know STEM fields, you can one time, either at the bachelor's level or at the master's level, apply for an extension of your work permit so you could work for 3 years. So we often see, you can't do that at the associate's level. You could work for 1 year if you wanted to save a little bit of money to then apply to go to the bachelor's level. But if you want to end at the bachelor's level and you're in a STEM field, you can do something called OPT, optional practical training. And in the STEM field, that's for 1 year. You can extend that for 2 more years. So you could work for 3 years.